This computer. Okay, so we are recording. So this is our number 4, right, Paul? Is this the 4th time we've had a call, right? Yes. So for our Can Do Business Builders, and I'm hoping that if everybody hasn't been on the live calls, that they've been keeping up with the taped one and catching up with the, because I know that there's been good information. Why don't we are going to go into, Jen's going to do a great thing for us with host coaching, but before we do that, let's do just who has, I always like to start with to sort of get some updates on what people have going on this week. Who has something fun or exciting to share from this week, even if you already told me about it, so that you can share it with the group. Bueller.
You're in my 80s one. Oh my gosh.
What do you have to share, Ginger?
Well, my parties are hopping. So, you know, I have 7 going currently online. I had my second home show last night that she thought we ought to cancel. Nobody was going to come. She had about $70 in orders before the party, and she's 26 away from 500 right now. So he's doing really well. And
and tell me, remember we talked about how are bookings for that?
She has, right now, she has 1 confirmed booking and 1 possible fundraiser on hers.
Okay.
And she's working on a 3rd one, so we'll see. She's in the process of messaging people tonight, so she really wants that extra gift for her 3. So,
and that's something that's interesting. And I don't know if Jen's going to cover this on host coaching, but you include that in your host coaching, right? That if they get 3 bookings from their party, they get an extra gift from you.
Exactly. Once they have the 3 confirmed bookings that I have them scheduled, I do a picture with the package that shows what they're going to get, and then they don't get it until the parties have been held and qualified.
And what picture is that?
Well, I just, depending on who the host is and how their party was, depends on what I choose as a gift for them. So the one that I have one right now that has 3 bookings, and all she talks about is the popcorn maker, so that's going to be hers. She won't have to get it with her free stuff when her party closes, because she's going to get it with the 3 bookings. So
that's awesome. Good.
And then I have a I'm going to say potential recruit, because she hasn't signed up yet, but she's having her party right now to use her kit credit. So hopefully that does really well. She's aiming for, she needs at least 400 or more to use the $50. So that's what her aim is right now, and she wants to sign up before the end of February, because she wants the February sign-on bonus.
Perfect. It really is. If we leverage that, that's a really great, incentive.
Oh, absolutely. I posted that in all of my parties that were going for this month.
Good. Good. Ginger and I got to just have dinner together at Da Vinci's. We have her cousin is how we met, who's a good friend of mine. And so we just had a little girls' night dinner. So I heard all this already from Ginger. We just both rushed home to get on the call.
And then we were the first 2 on.
I know. All right. Who else has something good to share? Ashley? To see people try not to make, you're on mute. They try not to make eye contact with me, so you don't have to talk, but then I call you out anyway.
No, Ryan's watching a TV show, so I had it on mute, and then I had to tell him to turn it off for a second while I turn this back on.
Thanks,
exciting. I don't know about exciting. I think it was kind of, how you talk about like the roller coasters. I think I'm like way down and struggling a little bit. We talked about it earlier this week about how one girl who's going to sign on to be a consultant, well, her party never qualified. And as much as she tried and I tried, sales weren't happening for her. So I think she got kind of discouraged. And now, as you know, Anna, she's not even like getting back to me. So I had to submit the couple orders that came in as individual sales. And so I'll touch base with her again, but it is kind of discouraging because I thought that one was like in the bag, you know?
But we talked about this though. And this is great because we know though that she's got bookings ready to go, right?
Yeah.
But so you have not really been able to really talk to her to
No.
say, so we talked about this. We think that we know what's happening with her, but it may have nothing to do with Jeff or being discouraged or anything else. She may have her basement might have just flooded with the storm. I mean, it could be anything, you know what I mean? And she's just totally preoccupied and just said, you know what, just close that. I know I've got, in her head, I know I've got these shows. I know I'm going to get started. Just close that and get it done. Like that could be what she's doing. So don't get yourself, so you're right. We just keep plugging along, and for whatever reason, we'll, it's hard to try to connect sometimes. But yeah. Ashley's got all her little ducks in a row. They just need to jump off the dock.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then another girl her party's closing. I was supposed to close on Thursday, and then she forgot that her daughter had a basketball tournament all weekend, so she's been gone all weekend, and she told me she wasn't going to be able to, put her order in or do everything. So supposedly tomorrow we'll be able to touch base, and she'll be able to sign on and everything. So that is exciting.
Yes, it is. They're going
one
to
and
come
one.
around. Yes,
One
they're going to come around. We're going to come around.
Yeah. So that's all.
Good. And Elaine, you have your little man that you didn't tell me about because we didn't have our call in Vermont.
Yeah, he actually used to live in Maine, and Lewiston, Maine, and he owned a business. I don't remember what it was. He's now living in Vermont, and he absolutely loves to cook. He loves everything that has to do with the kitchen. He was a guest at another party and booked a show. So he's working really hard right now to get bookings, and he's already got, I think he invited over 400 people.
Wow.
So he's got a lot of contacts. The party doesn't start until Monday, but he has 2 orders in already, which is nice. And we actually, he tends to talk late at night. So after this, he and I will probably be chatting on Messenger till 10:30.
Oh.
Because that's pretty much what we've been doing all week.
Yeah, good.
He'll ask me a quick question, and next thing you know, we're chatting about life, the universe, and everything. So I had wanted to ask you because I knew that I would be working with him. And especially when he was talking about how much he just loves everything kitchen.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
Yeah, he's got a little girl. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Yep. And my other show, I have another show starting Monday. There's already another one Monday. There's already an order for that, and there's already a booking from it. So.
Wow, that
good. Feels good.
Those bookings, yes.
It's been a few weeks for me since I've had any bookings. I mean, I did 2 in January, the beginning of January, and they were awesome. And nothing until now. So when you're not in motion, it's hard to get in motion.
Well, and that's it. We talk about the whole intentional thing too. You're being a lot more intentional than you were in January. You were still sort of moving and all that, you know what I mean? All that other kind of stuff. So this is where we're being intentional. So that's when you're seeing stuff.
Yeah, I'm expecting a good week. I'm expecting 2 good shows. I'm expecting a good week. I'm expecting March to be full.
Good.
So we'll go from there.
Good. All right. How about you, Amy Labby? Do you want to type anything to us about all the fabulous things going on for you? No, I didn't see it. Where is it? In here? Oh, here. Nothing new. 3 VPs going on right now. One is like 450. The other ones are nothing. Not sure how to spark those up. I have 2 more starting this week. See mine. Oh, it is here. Okay. So you can, about the sparking those up, I would have you message Ginger later, maybe for some ideas. Because Ginger is, that's what she's been doing her training on. And she's got some good stuff there. The other thing is, too, I think that what sparks them up is if you can get the hosts to post something. So have I given you, Amy, any of the host, like the host coaching or the host recommendation things? Why can't I see what else she's saying? I did use, okay, the hosts are being active. Oh, okay, the hosts are being active, but are they posting their own things or are they just commenting on what you're doing? Like, are they making totally new posts? A lot of times that's a big thing. Comment, okay. I think that it could post, if they post something, if you give them, and I'll give you a few things. Ginger had put some things together too. If you have the hosts actually post something in there, like I'm so excited, or make sure you click going, or come on guys, make sure you play so you can get a prize, that will spark some stuff because they see that. I don't think they necessarily see the comments or if that comes up notifying, but they'll see
They don't.
Yeah, but they actually post something, they do, right, Ginger?
Yes, they need to create their own post every single day in order to notify those that they've invited that have not clicked going or maybe. Going and maybe will see our posts, but invited sees nothing until they click that unless the host posts. So they're not even going to see their comments, likes, or anything. They have to post.
Okay. And I almost wonder too if in their notifications, if it comes up better too.
It does. Once like they won't receive anything to do in the event
Mm-hmm.
from anything that the host does unless the host creates their own post. Once they do that, they will receive a notification, anybody that they've invited in.
Mm-hmm. What about though too, do you think there's a difference in if they've said they're going, is there a difference in their notifications if the consultant post that's not a friend of theirs or the host post who is a friend of theirs?
If they have selected going, or maybe, they will see what the consultant posts also. They'll receive a notification for it.
They will, okay,
Yes.
okay. Whether they see that and think, you know, more, that they're more interested to see what their friend posts versus, yeah, I don't know if that's a do.
Right. And that's why in my template, they only receive 4 actual notifications from me.
Yeah.
Because I do a grouping of 3. They get 12 posts from me, but they only receive 4 notifications.
Right. So she says she's going to work on coaching them. What I'll do too is it okay if I pass, or would you mind putting your host coaching thing on?
You mean my Battle of the Hosts?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Would you post that on? That would be helpful, I think, too.
Post it on the Can Do?
Yes. It's similar to like Jennifer, like the Becky Adams thing that we have, but it's Ginger does it a little bit different. It's
Yep, I will definitely I'll share that on there.
okay, good. Thank you. All right, Sarah, I feel like Sarah's frozen. Is she frozen for everybody? Can you hear us, Sarah?
Yep.
Oh, okay, but you're frozen, just you and the baby. I can't. But so do you have anything good going on this week?
I have nothing new this week.
Nothing
I had
new.
a house full of kids, so
You had what?
we had a house full of her sisters.
How many is that?
Total of 6, including my own.
Oh my word.
But 2 are my own and 4 are the girls.
Bless your heart. Yeah. So now are they all still there?
No, 2 of them went home because they're not my placements. And then 2 are my placements.
Oh, okay. Oh, bless her. So
It'll die down a little bit.
Yes. Okay. No, but Bree, I see Bree is on. Bree, do you have anything fun to share that went on this week? You're on mute if you're trying to talk to us. But if you're just ignoring us, that's okay too. She might be dealing with things. Oh, she's driving. Okay. Well, then she should not be typing. All right, we'll let you off the hook, Bree. We're glad you're here. Okay, so again, we're still in the bookings, because remember, we've talked about that's where we're going. Oh, her hubby's driving. Good. We're going with this whole thing, again, this whole formula, this whole basis is all on the premise of that we need to have enough. We need to be in touch with enough people, have enough potentials, enough people that we're talking to, so that we have enough bookings, so that we're in front of enough people to get more bookings, but also to find those recruit leads too. And that's where I think you're finding, when we're having consultants that are finding those recruit leads, it's because they've got a more full show schedule. I mean, that's a big difference. The consultants that have full show schedules are talking to enough people that those recruit leads are popping up out of it. So what Jen's going to do, this is a really big important thing, because so that we have enough people, she can talk, I'm sure is going to talk more about what host coaching means and how it really affects your business. But I've always said it's probably one of the biggest keys of your business. You guys work hard to get these initial bookings on your calendar. So we want to make sure that not only do they hold, but they end up being the best that they can be. You know, if you're going to work anyway, you want to work for $50 instead of just $25, or $600 instead of just $300, or whatever. I mean, it can really make that big of a difference in your business. So Jennifer, would you like to please share what we should know about host coaching?
Sure. I'm going to keep it pretty basic and kind of stick with what home office says to do, because that way you can go back and see what home office says to do if you ever forget or you need a refresher. I don't remember who said it originally, but it's super true that you make your paycheck before the party with your host coaching. The party is just where you go to pick it up. So it takes just as much time to do a $500 party or a $300 party as it does to do a $1,000 party. So if you're going to have to be out of your house for that same amount of time, no matter what, you might as well make sure it's a good one. And so there are a few things that you can do. There's a few things that you can do to help ensure that they hold and that they're worth your time. So there are one thing that home office does suggest that we do that I'm not good at is the 24-hour call. So once somebody books a party, they say to call them to confirm it in 24 hours. And I'm not good at that. I do a card, like a little postcard that is a confirmation for them. I'm sure I'd probably have better results if I did a call. But I'm just like the rest of you, and I hate calls. So I've been doing the cards. So when you book a party, whether it's at a party or outside of a party, you kind of want to start your host coaching right then and there. Don't wait until, if somebody books in a month or in 6 weeks, you don't want to wait until 3 weeks before the party for them to hear from you the first time. So that's why the 24-hour call is a great tip to use, as well as the booking confirmation. So when you're talking to somebody as they book the party, I have a little script that you can use, but you want to cover some things to help get them excited right at the very beginning so that they don't fall off your calendar. So you say something like, Karen, I'm so excited for your party on the 21st. So tell me, what did you enjoy most about the party? Because then they're going to remember why they were excited. And so you wait for the response. You say, great, what products are you most excited about getting? And wait for their response, because it has to be a conversation instead of you just talking at them. And so then just confirm, like, you'll love those. Our goal is to have 15 guests at the party. So the most important thing you can do is call your guests right away tomorrow morning or when you get home from work. Remember, only about a third of the people you call will be able to come. So you'll want to reach out to 40 people. How does that sound? Because basically you're asking them permission, or you're getting their confirmation that it's okay to invite that many people, and you really can kind of get an idea of if that makes them nervous or not, because we know not all 40 of those people are going to come. It would be great if they did, but they're not. But your hosts are thinking sometimes in their head, they're thinking, oh my God, 40 people, I could not fit 40 people in my house. There's no way. I can only fit 10. I'm only going to invite 10. And then that means like 2 people come. So if she says she doesn't know 40 people, tell her that you'll help her brainstorm, and you could give her suggestions like inviting 15 people and encouraging them to bring a friend. That automatically doubles your attendance, things like that. There is the top 40 list that you can find right on Consultants Corner that you can give them. It's a memory jogger. You guys have something similar in your new kits, your launch list. It's basically the same thing. It's just reworded for hosts. But then you want to keep coaching them. You say the first thing you want to tell your guests is exactly what you just told me. Let them know what you enjoyed about the party, and that they're going to want to see the grill pan and the manual food processor, or whatever the items are that your host wants for free, and tell them why you love those items. Because again, you want your host to be selling the party to her friends. Like, she has to get them excited to come. That's how they're going to come. And then you can even say, I know many people don't answer their phone these days, so it's a good idea to send a follow-up text message, an email, or a Facebook post that says, hey, I just left you a voicemail. Can't wait to hear what you think. You can do that for yourself, too. When you call them and you leave a voicemail, you can do the same thing. Send them a text message that just says, hey, I just left you a voicemail. Because nothing replaces the excited sound in your voice. Even if it's on a voicemail, it's still not quite the same, but it's better than smiley faces and exclamation points, because there aren't enough smiley faces and exclamation points to get your excitement across. And home office does, in this anyway, they suggest that you get the guest list within 48 hours and send the invitations. I personally do not do that anymore. I did for a while, and I do notice that parties do hold better and the attendance is better, but it was a lot of time that I didn't have, and it was a lot of postage that I didn't want to pay for, and it really didn't seem to make a huge significant difference for me, so I cut it out. But that's a personal preference for you. If you want to try it, it can't hurt. Your attendance will not go down. I'll tell you that. I mean, it just is. It's up to you whether you want to take the time and the postage and stuff to do that. But I just sent mini catalogs. You know, those mini catalogs you can order on the supply order, and a lot of times the orders are higher because they're actually looking through a mini catalog. But so they want you to say, then you'll just send me a guest list of everyone that you're inviting so I can send a mini catalog out to them. I'd like to get the list back within 48 hours, which would be on Wednesday. Would that work for you? Great. If she says no, ask if the next day will be better. Don't leave it up to her to tell you when it would be better, because she's going to say next week, and then you're never going to see the list. And then you always want to confirm the best way. Ask her too, would you prefer to mail me a list of names on a sheet of labels, or complete a simple fill-in-the-blank electronic form? You can get all of that on Consultants Corner, or you can just give her one of those blank label sheets, and if you have one of those at your party. So you just confirm. So today is Monday, and if you get the list to me by Wednesday, then I'll get those mini catalogs mailed out for you right away. I find that my hosts get lots of orders from guests who can't attend when they receive a mini catalog as their invitation. I'll make a note here in the upper right hand corner of your host packet with a reminder of what day to mail or email this back to me. How does that sound? And then you want to make sure you know the best way to contact your host, because there's nothing worse than trying to contact them and they have fallen off the face of the earth because they never check their voicemail, or they don't do text messages, or they have 30,000 emails and they just don't check it anymore. So confirm with them. Karen, what's the best way for me to communicate with you? I'll give you a call tomorrow and go over a few details for your party. Is your cell phone number the best way to reach you? I always ask my host if they're texters, because a lot of them are now. So I can do a lot through text as well. If you want the guest address label template, it's right on Consultants Corner, and it's under my shows, under the show planning materials, and it's called printable labels, and it's the guest address labels. You can just all write down in the drop downs. So there's that. So the 24-hour call, you would say, hi, Karen, this is Jen from Pampered Chef. I want to give you a quick call to say thank you for booking your party with me. I know we're going to have so much fun. Just to confirm, you chose Monday the 21st at 6 o'clock for your party. Is that correct? And then pause for their response. Great. Remember, the most important thing for you to do right now is to create your guest list. I'd love to have that back in the next 48 hours so I can send a mini catalog to everyone on your list. That way, if they can't make it, they can place an order and you'll get credit for that. Will that work for you? Super. I know that once you start calling to personally invite your guests and they hear how excited you are about your party, you'll have great attendance. Our goal is to have at least 15 guests, which means you need to reach out to at least 40 people. Karen, I know that I mentioned this yesterday, but I have to say you've been on my mind. I think you'd be wonderful as a consultant with Pampered Chef, and it would be terrific to have you as part of my team. I'd love to get together with you for a cup of coffee and tell you a little bit about our business. I know you'll love what you hear. What do you think? So there's a few things that were in that 24-hour call. The things that we repeat, obviously, are the things that we're looking for. So you heard, again, the guest list in 48 hours, so they're not forgetting that. You heard that they need 15 guests, so they have to invite 40 people, so they're not forgetting that. Those are key. You can't have a party with 3 people every time and keep having parties because they're just going to fall. You're not going to get 2 bookings from every party if there's 3 people at every party. I mean, you could. Sometimes my smallest parties you get the most bookings from, but you're not having $1,000 parties with 3 people in attendance. So remember, we have to have a kind of a well-rounded business to make it worth your time. If you're leaving your house and you're leaving your family, you want that $1,000 party and those 2 bookings and that recruit lead. So that's kind of what all the host coaching is trying to get you to. So that 24-hour call, I have to be better myself about doing that because I think that will help. Then that's kind of where the home office training kind of, I don't know, Anna, if you noticed that, but in that call, they kind of just cut it off there. So I do more than just the 24-hour call. I do 3 calls to my hosts. So I don't always do the 24-hour one, but I always do these other 3. And I have this script. It's Anna's script. It's right on the Veerling page. It's actually a full page. I just cut it in half because our planner got small one year. So I cut it in half and I laminated it back to back. So I say the same thing on every single call. So you don't have to be creative. You don't have to think about what you're going to say. You literally say the same thing every single time. And so 3 weeks before, you want to schedule time for your host coaching. That's the most important part because otherwise you'll never do it. Because if I don't get it done on Monday when I plan to do it, I say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I get busy. And then, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I get busy. And then it's like Thursday and Friday. And you're like, screw it. I'll do it on Sunday. I'll do the next week. And then you've lost a whole week of host coaching and you can lose a lot of hosts in that 1 week. So don't forget to do your host coaching and do it no matter what, because the most time it'll take you is 20 minutes tops, I swear. And the worst part is the 4 hours before when I try to talk myself out of doing it, and then I take the 20 minutes to do it. And every time I say, what was I so scared of? I do it every time. Okay. I've been at this for almost 8 years and I still hate doing them and I still psych myself out and then I still do them. And then I'm like, what was the big deal? So just do them. Cause if I can do them, anybody can. So the first call, and I'm going to do this like it's a voicemail. You can make it a conversation if somebody actually happens to pick up the phone, but I'm going to tell you about 99% of the time they don't. So I just leave voicemails and then you just send them a text. So the first call, I always say, hey, this is Jen with Pampered Chefs. I'm about to leave a whole bunch of information for you on this message. But if you have any questions or you need any clarification, give me a call. My number's blah, blah, blah. You can text me too. So my first question for you is, what are you hoping to get for free? Now, if you started host coaching at the party and you did your 24-hour call, you already know the answer to this question. But if you didn't, then you find out now. So I always say, because I want it, that's my job. I want to make sure that we get that for you. But it is my job to get you the most free stuff possible. So my goal is to get all of my hosts to at least $1,000 party, which sounds big and scary, but it's really only an average of about 20 orders. The only thing that you have to worry about is attendance and outside orders. That's your only job. I do everything else for you. So use my 50 people in 5 minutes memory jogger for the 40, whatever they call it now, the 40 people thing. It will help branch you out from your 5 best friends. It helps cover for all those people that can't come, and it helps diversify your group so that if something happens to one of your groups, it doesn't wipe out your entire party. Now, a personal invitation, a phone call, something personal is key. It just shows people that you're worth their time, worth It just shows people that they were worth your time to pick up the phone. Let them know that your party starts at 6 o'clock and it's a blank party. So whatever theme you're doing, if you're doing a theme. If they can't come, grab an order from them. They all add up and they all count towards your party. Just please remember to get all of their contact information. I can't put the orders in without it, and it will delay the closing of your party if you have to go back and get all of that later. Let them know that they get a free gift when they spend $75 or more this month. People will do crazy things for free stuff, so make sure they know about the flyer in your packet. And also suggest that they book their own party. Just because they can't come doesn't mean they don't want their own free stuff. And they'll do it for you before they do it for me. So you get free, and then you get a 50% off item at every single party that's booked off of yours. So they get free stuff, you get a 50% off item, and I can still pay my mortgage. So we all win. And then I do an incentive for $1,000 party. I do a brunch at the end of the year. I've yet to actually hold one because every time I try to hold one, nobody can come because it's always around Christmas. So I've gotten out of it every year, but the idea is good. So I always say that when they hit the $1,000 party mark, they get invited to a special brunch at my house at the end of the year. So it's just pointing out that $1,000 party goal again. And then I say, and this may be the furthest thing from your mind, but have you ever thought about being a consultant? Because I can absolutely help you with that as well. And then I give my contact information again. So that first call, that first message is the longest one. That's why at the beginning I say, I'm going to leave a whole bunch of information on this message for you. And I leave my information at the front, at the beginning. So, because I know they're probably not going to listen to the whole thing, but I at least want to make sure they have my information and they can call me if they have questions. So then the second week is a really short call. I just call and say, hey, how's it going? I was just checking to see how things were going for your party, see if you needed any more order forms or anything like that from me. Don't forget, when you hit the $1,000 party, you get invited to a special brunch at my house, and just checking to see how you're coming on your outside orders. That's what you're going to want to focus on this week for the people that can't come. And then I ask them, have you given any more thought to joining my team? So that's the shortest, the easiest call. And then the last call I think is the most important, because I do most of my host coaching when they actually book the party. A lot of the stuff that I go over in the first call, I go over right at the party. So that one's not quite as important. You just want them to hear your voice and let them know. It's basically letting them know that you're running your business like a business and that it's a big deal for you and that you don't want them to cancel on you and that you're here for them. But I've already gone over most of this stuff when they booked. So the second call is really quick. You just want them to hear your voice. The third call for me is my most important one. So I call them up and I say, hey, it's almost time for your party. I just wanted to make sure everything was all set to go. If you have your hosts pick up the ingredients, you want to make sure they have the ingredient list. If you're bringing the ingredients, I let them know that I have the ingredients and that it's just $15 at the party for that. Just checking to see how many guests you have coming so far and where you're at for outside orders. I do have a GPS, but if there's anything funky that I should know about getting to your house, please let me know. I'll be there. If it's a 6 o'clock party, I'm there at 5:30. So I'll be there at 5:30 and we'll get started right at 6. Now, the biggest tip that I can give you is that you want to make reminder calls or texts a night or two before your party, because nobody truly decides if they're coming or not until a night or two before. Life is too busy. They could have said yes 3 weeks ago and they may not be able to come now. So you want to call all of the yeses because their plans might have changed and they still need a reminder. You want to call all of the no's because their plans might have changed and they might be able to come now. And you want to call all of the maybes so that you can fit them into one of those two categories. And then if you could just let me know if their party's on Thursday, if you could just let me know on Thursday morning how many definite yeses we have, that way I can make sure I bring enough stuff. And that really is great, because then you're leaving your house knowing in your head, you've kind of prepared, do I have a small group? Do I have a big group? Not that it really matters, but I like to know. I like to know if I'm walking into 2 people or 20. And I want my host to reach out to her people. So I need the definite yeses, because if not, she's going to say, well, I've had people say it could be, I have anywhere from 2 to 12 coming. Really? So you want them to kind of narrow it down, because if she says 2 to 12, you know she hasn't called those people. Because if you call people, they're going to give you an answer for the most part. especially a night or two before. So you really want to, it's just to get them to reach out. That's why you're asking for the definite yeses. Because you're going to do the same party no matter what, whether there's 2 people there or 12 people there, you still do the same party, but it just, you want them reaching out. So that's what this call is kind of meant for them to do. Then I remind them about the $1,000 party. And if you do anything for bookings before the party, I do give a gift if they get 3 bookings before the party even starts. So I remind them on that. And then again, I say, I know we've already talked about this, but have you thought any more about being a consultant? We can make this your kickoff party. So those are the 3 calls. I keep track of all of this in my book. As much of a tech person as I am, I'm a paper calendar girl. I have all of their information written in the little box of the party. It has their name, their address, their phone number, their email, all right there with their party time and everything. And then underneath it, I have codes. And so I write P when I mail the packet. I write I when I mail their invitations. I write F if I set up their Facebook party, but we're not friends yet. I put the B on once we're friends and they're added. That was the way because at first I was forgetting who I was friends with and who I wasn't. So I figured that's my code now. So I remember to friend them and go back and check and make sure we're friends so I can re-invite them to the party. Because sometimes I don't realize we're not friends until I go to create the party and I can't invite them. So there's that. And then I do my booking confirmation is BC. And then the 3 calls. So it's C1, C2, C3. It's nothing big. But if I leave a message instead of C1, I'll put MSG. So I just know that I left a message. You can even go as far as if they call you back, you can circle it. I don't do that. But that's basically it for host coaching. If you don't talk to your host, they're not going to hold their party. So you've worked really, 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 really hard to get these bookings. So you need to work really, really, really hard to keep them and to make them worth your time. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes the two people parties are good. That's where you can find your, I've gotten really good bookings and really good recruit leads out of the smaller parties, but I also need a paycheck too. So, the 2 and 3 people parties are going to happen on their own, no matter what, no matter how you're host coaching. So you really want to try to host coach everybody to that $1,000 party because there is a place in your schedule for all different size parties. So, and you're not going to know which host is going to be that party. So you got to host coach them all the same because they don't know what they're doing until you tell them what to do. And some will choose to, and some will not, and you can't help that. And so those are the smaller parties, and that's where you get more bookings from. It's just kind of how it works. It's a numbers thing and it's all an averages thing, and it all works out the way it's supposed to as long as you're working your butt off. How's that?
Awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Anybody have questions?
Yeah,
that's a lot of information.
Let's do questions. Who has questions?
You can type them in too if I know some people are not like on. Never thought of putting host and guest party in my virtual packet. Oh, host and guest specials, you mean, Amy?
I don't know what she means.
I don't either.
Amy Labby, what do you mean? I've never thought of putting host and guest party in my do you mean specials?
That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I do my host packets ahead of time, anytime possible. This month was hard because we didn't get our stuff until after I already had bookings, but I try to have host packets ready to go as soon as they come out with the special for the next month. When I'm at my parties, I don't book. I mean, we've talked about this before. I don't talk about, like, I'm not talking about April yet because I need to still book March, but I'll have some April packets in the back of my folder. So when people book parties, I can give them a packet, saves me postage. But when I'm at the party, like I said, I start host coaching right there, and I tell them there's 4 steps to a party. Invite everyone you know that eats. Be excited when you do. Collect orders from people that can't come. And remind everybody a night or 2 before the party. So I break it down. It's 4 steps. That's all they have to do. And then in the host coaching, I kind of cover those 4 steps in a little more detail. So that's kind of the outline of how it all fits together. So I'm only talking about those 4 things, and you hear the same numbers through the whole host coaching, just like you do in those calls that I read from home office too. So it doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing. You just have to tell them what you expect because they don't know. Even direct sales people, let me just tell you, other direct sale consultants, they need host coaching. They're the worst hosts because a Mary Kay consultant, 3 or 4 people is great for them. They can't have any more than that for their facials and stuff. They can't. That's a good party for them. 3 or 4 people for us, it's not always a good party. So you have to host coach all of your hosts, even when they think they know what they're doing. Add the hosting guest specials into packets. A lot of people, Amy, a lot of people don't add them into the host packets. I have a friend that just emails everything. She's like, I haven't printed anything in 5 years, but I like stuff on paper. But that's just me.
And you know what I've done for the guest specials too is just print it off. Instead of putting the 3-ply receipts in, I'll print off the
Home office.
Yeah, the outside order forms, because the outside order forms have those specials, whatever the guest specials are, on there. And again, if you go to guest specials, you go over to the and you find the month, and then you go all the way over to the side. One of them says, there's one of the flyers, outside order forms.
I print those. I put 5 of those in each packet, but I also print one of the 2. I do a half sheet. I do 2 on a page of the guest special on bright paper, and so I stick that in there too, so they can shove one in each of the catalogs because it's really little on the order form. So I think sometimes people don't notice it. So I shove it in. I shove it in there more so the host sees it, so she's telling people about it, and it's a reason for me to be able to say, check out that flyer in your packet.
Perfect.
Anybody have questions? Anything at all?
And does anybody have something else that they're doing with host coaching that's different? Now, some of you, again, we've got virtual parties. Is there, we talked a little bit about, Ginger, we were talking with Amy and stuff about the big thing with virtual parties and host coaching is getting the host involved and by posting and doing stuff like that. Is there anything else different or extra that you feel like you're doing with your hosts? Anyone?
Well, I will tell you too, I don't always do the calls. Sometimes it's text. I have a video that I put together too. I'm not sure yet if the video is very effective because I don't get questions back, but I don't know. I'm not confirming with them if they've watched it or not. So I didn't really want to talk about that part because I don't know if it works yet. Just start with the basics because that's what works. And if you want to add stuff on later, that's fine. Just don't get so overwhelmed with adding everything that you see and that people are doing because you're going to end up working a lot harder than you have to when the basic 3 calls work.
Yeah, I agree.
So I figured out that's what I was doing. I was working way too hard and I didn't need to be.
So Amy says what? Yes, I don't know that. I have a couple more days for my party, so I'm trying to figure out what I can do to get some sales. I think if you see, Ginger's trying to get that Evernote on there. I think if you look at that, Amy, you'll be able to pull Oh, it's on. Good. So thank you, Ginger. So you should be able to, Amy, to check that out and be able to pull some of that and message your host. I think that'll
Amy, have you done a live demo on your event? I had a party last week that the snow canceled. I still think I could have gone, but I think she was ready to cancel. So I said, that's fine, because I had 2 canceled the week before because of snow, and we moved them into March. I'm like, I can't move anymore. I need a paycheck in February. So I didn't even give her the option. I was like, that's fine. I'll come on at 6 o'clock just like we would have for the party, and I'll just do my demo live. I didn't even give her the choice. And so she had posted a couple of times that day about the live demo, and I posted a couple times with like a countdown of the live demo, and it all happened that day. It wasn't like a big 3 days till the event thing.
Yeah.
It was, hey, this got changed to a virtual party, come back at 6:00. And then we both posted, and she got, right after the party, it was like, it's like 350 in sales, which I think is actually more than she's hosted for me before. And that's more than what she had the last time she hosted a cooking party. So that was fine with me.
Yeah, really.
I'm not a virtual party person at all, but that worked for that party. So I don't know if maybe that is something you might want to try.
I'm sure that Sophia would tape it for you. So she's saying, would you add it? Yes, it would be an additional thing.
Yeah. Just pop on maybe a couple of times. It doesn't even have to be a full demo. Maybe just pop on when you're using one of the products or something. A high price product, not the little ones, because they'll buy those anyway. But like the next time you use a manual food processor for something, just flip it on and maybe demo what you're doing and talk about the other things that it can do. And then it's just funny. People buy what you demo.
Mm-hmm. They do. Well, good. If everybody's good, again, I think this is to get some sort of a system down for this too. I mean, and Jen sort of talked about, I always talk about when I first started this, my director had said to me that she did her host coaching calls on Sundays. So I've always done them on Sundays. I mean, I can remember I do them Sunday nights, or if the girls were younger and they were napping Sunday afternoons, that's when I would do it. And again, it's not, even doing 2-3 shows a week, when I was doing 3 shows a week, doing a first, second, and third call for those shows that were coming up maybe took 30 minutes. We're not talking like, huge blocks of time or anything, but that whole point of that, you've got to get a system in, and you've got to say, okay, block that time that you're going to do host coaching every week, versus the doing, saying, okay, I've got a host coach this week for those parties next week, or I've got to do, because then it just sort of gets away from you. Block it out, just like some time that you have to work. But I just think that's probably one of the most important things. So I think, Jen, you found Sundays don't work for you. So you do it a lot of times Mondays, is that right?
I had changed it to Mondays only because I was really trying. I had 3 jobs, and I was like, I need Sunday to just be a Sunday.
Yeah.
And so I was doing a Monday afternoons.
Yeah.
When I wasn't back at school, I would do a Monday afternoon.
Yeah. So you pick and do that, but I definitely recommend picking a time and a day of the week and block that time that you do that, because then too you can say, you know what, I'm going to call you about 3 weeks before the party, and I always make my calls on Sundays, so they're going to be waiting for you to contact them. That's going to be important too. So
well, the good thing about doing it on the same day is that they're hearing from you consistently, so that some people aren't hearing from you 3 weeks before the party, and then some people aren't hearing from you until 2 weeks before the party. Like, it's just very consistent, and it's easy to get into a role with the script.
Exactly.
No one else has any questions? You guys are all quiet tonight.
Well, this is helpful for me because I've only done 2 home shows. So I have no system in place because I never planned on ever doing home shows, to be honest.
See, and I'm the opposite. I have 0 system for virtual parties, and I think that's why mine suck.
Oh, no. See, I have learned by watching a lot of webinars and doing my own research. So the VPs for me are easy. I mean, it's so routine, and that, it takes me half an hour probably over the course of the day, unless they're hopping. Like this week has just been so crazy because for some reason they're all, and I blamed it on the snow, but I don't know because it's still going. I mean, my notifications are just constant. So they're really hopping right now, which I love, but it takes a little more time than it had been. But maybe that's going to result in larger parties, which is a plus. So,
right.
But I really have nothing in place for home shows at all. So, like, I didn't do phone calls for the 2 that I've done. I've chatted with them over Facebook private messaging, you know, that's our phone call.
Right.
So I had no clue what to do. So it's been helpful for me because I really have no system in place for that at all.
Awesome. All right, ladies. Well, if everybody's good, then we're all ready to get off onto host coaching. And then actually next week, we're going to be jumping into recruiting. So I would say your homework and what you want to do this week is really, again, focus on getting a system down to do your host coaching for your bookings and continue to be, you know, working on that. You're not through till you get to. Those of you I know that've got bookings and shows going, Bree, good luck on your not your first, but your next home show on Friday. Remember, you're not through till you get to. So keep focusing on that. And then we're going to work more on recruiting and stuff next week. Next Sunday will be what we're doing. So, and I know my group and I know Jen and whoever your director is, make sure you plan a coaching call this week, because I think those are just as important as these calls, is to have that one-on-one when we can follow up on specifically what's going on in your business. So we're not expecting snowstorms this week, so I should be better about that. But kids are home all week, and it's basketball playoffs up at the Civic Center, so we've got that going on. But thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
And thank you, ladies. Have a great night and a great week, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, everybody.